Hi, this is Jennifer Hart, and welcome. This is ZIA, Be Well. And I'll just mention quick that ZIA means auntie in Italian. And I want to say happy birthday to my nephew who turns 1 today, Waylon Stone. And I find my niece and nephew as inspiration, which is why I created this idea of doing this podcast. And because of them, I decided to do this. However, I wanted to showcase the fitness and wellness individuals in the local area, and they don't get enough love. I just feel like, everybody jumps on that bandwagon, like, oh, I'm in wellness, oh, I'm in fitness, oh, cute. But you know what? There is some real talent and some real intellect and interesting people that I feel just don't get everybody jumps on that bandwagon, and I just feel that they don't get the recognition that they should. And I had the privilege to speak to a multi-talented, intelligent, interesting person last week, and I don't want to embarrass you, Marybeth,
It's okay.
but you are fabulous.
Thank
and this
you,
is
thank you.
Marybeth from Nourish Collaborative. And like I said, everybody has their image and they always, they say wellness, and I do fitness, and it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But it was just so interesting to talk to Marybeth, and she knows to and appreciates equally talented and gifted practitioners for healing. So that's who she surrounds herself with. So I wanted her to be able to share what she has to offer, because it was just a really great experience speaking with her. So Nourish Collaborative in Kingston, Massachusetts, and you have a lot of different modalities and practices in your facility, and a lot of fun things, and just really a good time as well as healing. So
Yeah.
I wanted Marybeth to share the love and how she began this too. And we're not like textbook and baloney. We're not going to say, oh yeah, okay, this is what I do. We had a really good conversation, and that's just how it should be. So, can I say the energetic blueprint? I guess you had mentioned the other day. That's what Marybeth calls it. And you want to?
Yeah. So Nourish offers, so many services, and I kind of facilitate a lot of the energetic services and the spiritual services. So one of the biggest things that I do as a practitioner is I love to look at the energetic blueprint of people. It happens to be one of the gifts that I have. I am a spiritual medium. I've been a medium for about 10 years. And throughout the mediumship, I've just learned how to see what I refer to as the energetic blueprint.
I love that.
And yeah, it really does show me where the blockages in the body is from, maybe there's past trauma there. Maybe there's things from inner child that are stuck. Maybe there's, emotional things, that baggage that we're holding on to, and that really does block our energy system. It can then infiltrate into our physical system, really kind of weighing us down. So that is something that all of our practitioners focus on. When we talk about wellness, we look at wellness as a whole. We look at this physical body, the emotional aspects of what we're holding on to. And then we also look at the mind and how the mind works and how the mind is actually feeding the body. So your thoughts are putting out an energy, and your body's taking tolls on that.
And what's great about this practice is that everybody wants to take a pill. And, you're not finding the root of your problem, and people find their own way of dealing with things, but the stuckness, and that's a great way that I always thought that was great that you said that as well, because sometimes you just feel like malaise, like stuck, like what is wrong? Like everything's good, I think everything's great, going well, from hygiene to your job. And I just feel like something is still holding you back. Why isn't this one thing working? And that's because, and as a geek, I always was into like, oh, this organ is attached to this, like we talked about Crohn's disease, as I always talk about, and it's like, okay, the stomach is
Yes.
that's the heart, and and emotions that are attached to pain, and you can work it out. Yes, you can sweat it
Yeah.
out, you can work it out, you can do your yoga, but sometimes you need some help, and there shouldn't be any ego involved, like
Right.
just go and ask for help. And not everything is for everybody, but there's always something. There's always something that can help something else. And with your center, you have so many different practices that can help,
Right.
and I like that. If you're like, well, hey, if I don't know, I can find the answer. There's someone else in this building that can help you.
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking at if someone comes in and they're saying they have stomach issues, we look at it from all angles. So we may look at it from a nutritional standpoint, but we're also going to look at it as what is your brain feeding that brain to gut connection, because that's huge and that affects a lot of, how our body reacts and how our stomach digests things and how we may hold on to and process certain foods. And so that is definitely something we will always look at. We also look at the relationships and how much pressure we're putting ourselves on certain relationships and what are the expectations there and how much energy are we giving to relationships that are maybe sucking the life out of us. And so creating boundaries, teaching people how to have boundaries, all the emotional stuff that comes along with things that can lead to autoimmune diseases and chronic diseases in the body.
And I use the stomach as an example because everybody's got
Everybody's
got stomach. Oh, whether you have heartburn, you have everything else. You're like, I always lead with the stomach because everybody's got. Oh, I can't. Oh, you got Pepto-Bismol. I mean, just something silly like that. And it's like everybody's got a stomach thing. But also think of I also know that when somebody has a lot of allergies, sometimes that's sadness from emotion from something else, and you go, why do I keep getting
Right.
the sneeze? I mean, somebody that I know sneezes a lot. I know they're sad from 30 years ago.
Sure.
And it's not just the flu.
Well,
what I mean?
oftentimes we see that come out in the skin too. Somebody
skin.
carries rashes or eczema, or all of a sudden they, hit their 40s and they develop all these things in terms of their skin or their hair thinning or, their nails changing. And those are all elements of the body's physiological changes. But a lot of that is coming from past stuff that's stuck in the body.
And you don't realize that. And who walks
No.
around having a conversation? Oh, you know what your problem is? You're stuck. No, I just need a sandwich, or I'm like, I'm hungry. No, man, there's something else going on there. And I love that stuff. And I always have to study, find out. But then you end up self-diagnosing and you make yourself nuts. So instead, you go to the Nourish Collaborative and have somebody else help you. No, I'm serious, because that's what, then that's when we get ourselves in trouble. We're like, I can do it myself. I can walk it off and throw dirt on it. No, go get some help. The Nourish Collaborative has practitioners. And also, you're a team. You work together.
Very much
so. That's what I mean, is there's so many different options, and not everything is for everybody's body.
Right.
So there's something there for you in your facility.
Yeah, and we have many services where just for people to come in and relax. We have a salt booth with halotherapy. We have red light therapy in the salt booth. It's an infrared sauna also. We have IV therapy. So if you're struggling with, vitamin deficiencies or your immune system is really down, the IV therapy is really great for that.
That's awesome. And there aren't a lot of places like that around here. I mean, this is the real deal,
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that there are different therapies in different places, but in the gym and all that, but I mean, this is just one. It's just peaceful. And when you walk into the building, you just feel calmness. I don't know if it's just getting yourself all worked up. I know I'm going to get helped here. That's fine if that's what works for you. But I mean, you become aware of your own energy. You're like, wow, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like when I walked into your place.
That's so fantastic because that's our goal.
Plus, I'm a maniac, and I come in and I'm like, oh my God, she's going to be like, I have to cleanse this energy, this crazy chick. But no, I mean, that's okay, because if I'm someone like myself going in there to calm the hell down, then that's my goal, and that's why I'm there.
Yeah.
That's somebody who's trying to lose weight and they're in the gym. Well, that's what you're there for.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, people just need to be a little more quiet, listen to themselves,
Yeah, that's big.
and trust others that you know you're walking in there, and you can't be a skeptic. You have to be open to being healed and to getting the assistance that you guys offer.
Yeah, so that is one of the biggest things is that spiritual surrender and just getting people to trust themselves and trust into the unknown of maybe a world that they're not used to. So trusting the universe, trusting that, you know, the universe is going to have your back if you step into that.
And accept it.
And accept it. Yeah. And maybe, you know, once those things start to fall into place, you really do become very in tune with your body. So those moments that you're spending in silence or that you're learning to really listen to your thoughts are cultivating this really great, you know, force of things manifesting in your life, and you're shedding things that you no longer need. So when you're pushing energy through the body is naturally cleansing itself of anything that no longer is serving you purpose.
It's funny because it's like that's just what it is, and it's that people get into it, including myself, make it a little more complicated.
Yeah.
And say, well, what in this, and then they start looking at WebMD or something crazy, and
Yeah.
then they start making themselves nuts, and or they go gung ho into fitness and wellness, and then all of a sudden you just drop, and you're like, you go from one extreme to another.
Yeah.
So it's like what you just said, as far as the acceptance and just being aware of your own self. Like, as we know, people just can't get out of their own way,
Right.
and that's the whole thing. It's like,
Right.
you help guide that, and you're not going to make, do anything outrageous. It's like you already have that in you.
Yeah, everybody has the ability to heal themselves and heal their own body.
Yeah.
And we have many elements that are among us every single day to help us guide and to help us heal. A lot of, you know, your earth elements, that's why the salt is very important. We have a salt booth for those purposes. The salt is something that's naturally going to raise your vibrations.
Yeah, explain that a little more, because I know that people just think that, I know of some people are just like, oh, it just gets rid of the toxins. Well, it's more than that.
It is a little bit more than that, because salt is an earth element. And so anytime you're working with earth elements, you're shifting the energy in your body. So yes, it is going to detox your lungs for sure and your sinuses, but it's also going to help your energetic field to detox too.
Like, open you up.
It is going to open you up. It's going to raise your vibrations, and when you can do some breath work in it, it's really going to help flush things out of your system that you've maybe been holding on to. So you're going to see more benefits when you really understand how to use it properly.
So if you were saying somebody were to come in for that therapy, would you suggest, okay, what would you do to follow? Like, or before?
So we
before,
would
during,
talk
and
about
after?
some breath work and maybe doing some pranic breath work, maybe in the booth, especially if they were having stuck areas where they felt like there was, either muscle constriction or lung constriction, or lung constriction. That is definitely something that we would talk about, is doing some heavy breath work.
That's awesome.
And it is a medical grade salt, so it's really is doing a good job of detoxing your lungs.
Okay. What other therapies are there besides?
So we do a lot of grief counseling, and we do a lot of nutrition. We also do energy work, and then we help, facilitate weight loss, and just overall wellness in general. So we will run workshops for grief. We have a yoga studio, so we will run yoga. And a lot of our yoga is mixed with therapy. So the goal was, if someone comes in for a class, it's not just an average class. We want it to be very therapeutic. We talk about things. We debrief on things.
It's not just fitness.
No, I want someone to gain knowledge every time they're out of there and understand the why behind everything.
But that's the whole thing. Where we were talking, it's pretty much what we were saying. It's like, okay, why is this happening? Why? Okay, well,
Yeah.
And then you can fix it. It's
Yes.
not just putting a Band-Aid on everything. Like, that's why people go to the gym. And not that going to the gym isn't fantastic, but I mean, sometimes it's deeper than that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, even in today's society, we're all looking for the quick fix.
Yeah.
And these things are not a quick fix, so most of our therapies are intertwined. That's why our practitioners work so well together. And you are seeing multiple people when you are in there. We are working as a team. That's why it is the collaborative.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so we offer all those services. We also offer recovery services too for anybody who's in addiction or substance abuse.
And that's great.
And our goal is actually to work with nonprofits and pull some grants for that, so we can be able to offer that to a much larger audience, and to be able to have services that maybe if someone can't afford it, we can provide it for them.
That's awesome. Because it's, again, more local. People don't know where to go.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of places that. It was really important to me when opening Nourish that I had a wide variety of modalities and be able to really teach people the factors of healing. And whether that be, whether it's from the mind or from the physical standpoint or, from the emotional standpoint, it all matters and it all attributes. So to be able to set somebody up so that they can create their own healing and they can have the knowledge and they can go on and, sort of cultivate that for themselves is huge.
Would you mind, and I don't want to embarrass you, but would you mind speaking on your gift as a medium?
Sure. So yes, I've been a medium for 10 years, but I've had the gift my entire life. It actually runs in my family, so it came from my dad's mom. And, back then, I don't think it was talked about a lot in my family. My grandmother was very religious, and I grew up in an Irish Catholic. I went to Catholic school for 12 years. So I think for a long time I really struggled with it in trying to figure out how to use it and what does it even mean and is it real? And it caused me a lot of anxiety throughout my early 20s. And it wasn't really until I understood, I was going to school for psychology, and one of my professors started integrating mindfulness into our classes.
Wow.
And that's actually how I was able to slow down my brain enough.
To connect with it.
Yeah, and to connect and kind of clarify and learn how to, I call it my spirit language, how to build my spirit language.
Did he know? Did he have a plan himself, do you think? No, I'm just wondering if he was
I don't know. I mean, I think that was his outlet.
His teaching, the way he taught.
Yeah, I think he just stumbled. John
complemented.
Kabat-Zinn was coming out at that same time, talking a lot about mindfulness and back, that was back in the early 2000s. So it wasn't like something that was, I think it was a word kind of thrown around. And
Sure.
I remember saying to people, I'm learning mindfulness. And people would say, well, what is that?
Yeah.
And so
it was more crunchy then.
Yeah. And so it just was really funny because I loved it and I thought it was great. And the professor, learned really quickly that the kids were really taking to it. And
did he know that you had a gift, or he
found out after because it really did tremendously help me, and
he didn't realize what he was doing.
He didn't really realize what he was doing. Yeah.
Wow. So he just did it because he taught this because it was part of what he enjoyed to complement his teaching. Is all.
Yeah. He learned meditation and breath work, and
Wow. That's awesome.
Yep.
I didn't know that part. That's so great. I wanted to talk about what's coming up.
So what's coming up at Nourish is a couple of events. We have yoga classes that are starting this week. Those will be on Sunday nights and Tuesday, Thursday nights.
Sunday night. That's great because a lot of places don't do that.
Yeah.
Sunday night.
And then we have our kids pound class, which is a great way for kids to kind of get all of their, inner child that gets set free during pound. We have a fantastic teacher for that. Her name is Jenna Mara. And
for the kids, that's great. Gets out the energy and it's fun for them.
It's really fun. And we do a lot of positive self-talk and it's confidence building. And so, when we started Nourish, it was really important for me to have kids programs. So that will be something that will be ongoing. We'll do a lot of mindfulness programs for kids. We'll do kids meditative work. We'll do grief counseling for children.
There's not enough programs like that. It's
No,
either
that,
sports or that's it. Or
Yeah.
go to a psychologist, and that's okay, but it's not
Right.
everything.
Yeah, and I think it's important to have those empowerment programs for kids where they can really relate to other children who might be going through something that's very similar, you know? So that pound class is on Friday evenings until the end of December. And then we'll probably do another session of it because it's been a really popular class. We started it last week, and we originally started with 12 girls and we bumped it up to 14. And so she does a group of girls that is ages 6 to 9, and then she does 9 to 12.
Oh, so are
Yeah.
you gonna? Yeah, and sometimes the parents just don't have any place to bring their child. Like, what
Yeah,
am I
so
gonna
it's
do with
nice
this?
to drop them off for an hour and a half and
Yeah, and it's
you know,
healthy.
go get some rest for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's a great way for the kids to get their energy out, and it's super, super fun. And then our yoga classes will start, and then we'll start at the end of December to start to get into some of our workshops. So we'll have a yoga nidra workshop coming up that deals with a lot of grief over the holidays. And then in January, we'll do a large grand opening. But we are having open house on the 21st for Kingston Luminaries.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask because I want to come.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a great way to introduce you more to the community.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, and it's fun, and everybody goes to this.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to open up our doors. All of our practitioners will be there. You can get tours and you can ask questions about the practice and what we offer, and it'll just be a good way for us to kind of introduce ourselves to the community.
That's great. And let's see what else. What else we have going on here? Yeah, so I think that was the biggest thing. Did anything else you want to add? Because I feel like we talked. Well, I did a lot of talking last time, so I feel like I feel like what did we miss? I just wanted to, there's just so much to offer, and like I said, it's not. It's just different. I'm tired of the cliche things, and everybody's. I just found you so interesting, and there's so much to offer,
Thank you.
and it's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not the same old thing.
That's the goal. The goal is to really look at your health in a very different way.
And what's the address over there again? Because I get lost going to the mailbox.
The address is 431 Country Club Way, so it's right in Indian Pond Country Club.
Okay.
It's right across from the golf course. The building is the Stonecroft building. It's a beautiful building.
Oh yeah,
we have
can't miss
outdoor
it.
space, so we'll in the springtime and summer we will run outdoor events.
And there's so much room over there too.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's definitely worth going. And I hope you have a lot of guests there. And I hope that you join us again. And
I would love that.
And bring in some of your practitioner friends. And
Yes.
and that's it. I'm just excited that you were here, and it was a pleasure. And I appreciate you coming. And this is Jennifer Hart. ZIA, be well. Happy birthday, Waylon.